My name is Andrew Lanza, and I have the great privilege of representing the people of Staten Island in the New York State Senate. And I think I know, I've been there for 10 years now, and I think I know a little bit about the kind of person that you need, the kind of person that we deserve to have representing us in the state legislature. And that's why it is my privilege and honor to enthusiastically and with every ounce of my fiber endorse and support Glenn Yost for the New York State Assembly. So you know Glenn, but let me tell you some of the things you might not know. Glenn, I know Glenn for too long. And I know him to be a man of integrity, honesty, and intelligence. And beyond all that, he cares. He cares about the place he's called home his entire life. Glenn doesn't need to run for the Assembly. We need Glenn to run for the Assembly. We need him serving us, the people of Staten Island, in the New York State Assembly. We have this incredible system here in America. You know, our founders, they understood what the great threat was. It was consolidated power in government. They studied history, and they recognized that the greatest threat to individual liberty was consolidated power, government power. So they were very cautious about setting up a system where it was the people that were going to run things and not the government. So what we do, in order for that system to work, is we select one of our neighbors, someone we know, someone we trust, and someone we know can get the job done to represent us in the seat of government. In this case, the New York State Capitol, the New York State Legislature. And what you want in a person like that is someone who is not seeking the office like too many these days for the title, for a trophy, so they can see their name on a sign. Glenn doesn't need that. Glenn has been a success at everything he's done his entire life. It's because he brings great ability and great passion and great dedication to whatever it is he involves himself. Near and dear to my heart, as a former New York City detective, I don't think I could be prouder to be standing here supporting him for the New York State Assembly. And he's an attorney. And guess what? This is the New York State Legislature. One of your primary responsibilities is to write laws. Isn't it good to have someone who understands the law in the way that Glenn Yost knows the law? He is a skilled student of the law, he loves the law, and he will hit the ground running. I could tell you, as a person who has served there, Glenn, you might not know, has served as my counsel. And as such, he has helped constituents from one end of the Senate district to the other. No one knows this Assembly district better than Glenn Yost. That's the truth, because he's been involved almost as a legislator already with respect to the work that he's been doing in my office. Glenn has helped craft legislation, important legislation, on the issues that matter to the people of this district and across Staten Island. So there'll be no study time for Glenn. Glenn is the only one. He's the only one that on day one, he can hit the ground running. He's already been doing the job, and the people deserve no less. I could tell you this. I couldn't be prouder to be standing here supporting Glenn Yost. I look forward to having me as a partner in Albany. We already have a handle on the issues that matter most to the people of Staten Island. So the day Glenn Yost is sworn in as our next Assembly member from Staten Island, we will be hard at work serving the people of Staten Island together. I need Glenn Yost in the State Assembly. The people of Staten Island deserve to have Glenn Yost in the State Assembly. It is my great honor and privilege. I am so happy. As a father, a husband, as somebody who cares so much about Staten Island, I want the right people serving us in the legislature. Not people who want a title, not people who want to go on a victory lap. I want someone like Glenn Yost. We deserve someone like Glenn Yost. Glenn, it is my honor to endorse you. Thanks.
Thank you, Senator. Thanks so much. I'm proud to be standing here today, running for the New York State Assembly. I think that my background in law enforcement, as Andrew pointed out, is important. I started my public service, as many of these men and women behind me did, in the New York City Police Department at 20 years old. I did that because I wanted to serve my community, and I thought that was the best way to do that. You know, I was a youth officer. I was an undercover. I made major buys as an undercover, street level buys and bust. So I know what it's like to be out there risking my life, doing the right thing, as many of these men and women behind me do every day. And I want to let them know too that I have their back, and it's time to stop coddling the criminals and supporting our law enforcement. I was promoted at a young
Glenn will get
age.
the buses moving as well.
I was promoted to detective at an early age. I worked here in the 122 Precinct Detective Squad. I investigated all major crimes there. I was fortunate enough to go and work for the First Deputy Commissioner in the Police Department. I was in charge of disciplinary processing there. I was promoted to Detective Second Grade. I worked as the assistant to the Chief of Detectives for 4.5 years. I was promoted to the prestigious rank of Detective First Grade, probably one of the youngest in the history of the New York City Police Department. I was then accepted to New York Law School. I got through law school at night, wasn't easy. Passed the New York State Bar exam, and I opened up my own law firm here in Staten Island. And then I was fortunate enough to take that law background and my studies and be able to work with Senator Lanza. I appreciated that opportunity, as I still do, and I was able to learn from Andrew what it really means to be someone that loves his community. And as Andrew points out, this is not something to be taken lightly. My wife and my family, we've thought about this a long time before entering this, because it's a serious commitment. And it's not about having your name on a lawn sign. It's not about making the news. It's not about doing the victory lap, as Senator Lanza pointed out. This is about someone who wants to be committed and make changes for our people here in Staten Island. And I can tell you, each and every day, as this campaign has progressed already, people come to me and say, please, Mr. Yost, please be our voice in the New York State Assembly. Please bring our issues to the forefront. Please work with Senator Lanza and others. And don't be afraid. And I can tell you this, I'm not easily intimidated. I locked criminals up my whole life. I fought a lot for my community already. I intend to do that each and every day. And as Senator Lanza said, on day one, I'll be prepared to start legislation or lawsuits because I've been trained in that. I know how to do it. I've had the experience of working with Senator Lanza. I'm fairly well known up in the Assembly, and I think we're going to do great things together. I thank you all for your presence here today.